There once was a game that lasted 22 innings, took 6 hours and 14 minutes to complete, had 33 combined hits, and only 2 of those went for extra bases, a leadoff batter that went 0 for 9, a player that played in the outfield for the first time since high school, a mascot that got ejected, multiple future World Series winning managers. Surprisingly, 11 pitchers were used, although 5 of those pitchers were starters, and while all of that occurred, only 1 run was scored. Whew, alright, let's break this down. On August 23rd, 1989, the 59 and 67 Los Angeles Dodgers took on the 69 and 57 Montreal Expos, as they were set to play a standard regular season game with no expectations of anything out of the ordinary happening. But that night, unknown to both teams, this game would be anything but standard. And I mean, sure, coming into this night, it was semi-important for the Expos though, as they were hoping to advance on the New York Mets, who they were tied with, and look to overtake the Chicago Cubs, who were 2 games up in a tight NL East race. We are in fact in a pennant race by this point. But for the visiting Los Angeles Dodgers, they were 5th in the NL West and 13 games back of their rival, the San Francisco Giants. The game started with Pascal Perez taking the mound for the Expos, and facing him for the Dodgers was Cy Young winner Orel Hershiser. And right away, the game started rocky for Orel as he walked Expos leadoff man Dave Martinez on just 4 pitches. And you may know Dave Martinez today as the manager who printed out photographic evidence that his team got robbed. From this leadoff walk, Martinez would make it to 3rd and then get stranded at the end of the first inning. And spoiler alert, for most of the game, this is how every inning would go. There would be 1 or 0 base runners, and if there was a base runner, they would obviously get stranded every single time. So get ready for the worst possible frustration a single game of baseball could give both of its team's fans and now us as we relive it. And it really wasn't until the 6th inning that we saw 2 base runners for the first time, as Hershiser walked the first batter, got the next 2 out, and then the 4th batter singled, creating a 1st and 3rd opportunity. And with a chance to finally do something, the following batter would, surprise surprise, struck out to end the inning. Moving on to the 7th, the Dodgers got runners on 1st and 2nd to start the inning, and the 3rd batter nearly hit into a triple play, but the umps ruled that the runner at 2nd was safe. And still, with a man on 2nd or not, it didn't really matter because the next batter flew out, allowing Perez to get out of the jam. The 8th inning opened up with a single by Mike Scioscia, who was subsequently replaced by a pinch runner due to a hamstring strain. And funnily enough, after the game, Mike said by the 17th inning he was fully healed up and good to go back into the game. The words "by the 17th inning" gave some of you a heart attack, but you don't even know the half of it yet. The next batter popped out, and the 3rd batter of the inning would hit into a single, and a fielding error allowed the runner from 1st to get the 3rd and the batter to reach 2nd. With 1 out and 2nd and 3rd being occupied, it was now decision time for Dodgers manager Tommy Lasorda. With only 1 out, Lasorda opted to pinch hit for Hershiser, despite his low pitch count of just 77 pitches. However, the pinch hitter Mike Sharperson struck out, and Alfredo Griffin, the worst leadoff batter in this game, decided to line out to 2nd, shutting down the Dodgers' potential rally, because there's actually no such thing as a rally in this game, just a lot of bad baseball being played. And surprise, surprise, wouldn't you know it, the 9th inning as well was also a quick one, as just 3 batters for each team would go up to hit, and each of them would get out. So to extra innings we will go, and oh boy, we have a lot of them. We're not even halfway done, so please use this moment as a chance to grab a snack, get a drink, and most importantly, get comfortable for extras. And you know what? I'll save you some time. We're just going to skip the 10th inning because that was pointless as well. So to the 11th inning we go, is where things started to get really wacky. However, this inning would start semi-normally, as Brian Smith was the 3rd pitcher of the game for the Expos, and he was making his first relief appearance in nearly 6 years. He'd strike out Dodgers leadoff man, and if at this point in the video you're saying to yourself, damn, this game is boring as hell, you know, I promise you, you're not alone in that thinking, as Expos mascot Youppi decided it was time to put on his nightgown and nightcap and casually started napping on the roof of the Dodgers dugout. And much to the chagrin of Tommy Lasorda, it was safe to say he was not happy at all with this, as he would voice his displeasures very vocally with the umps, in fact so heavily with the umps that they had no choice but to eject Youppi, the Expos mascot, from the game. And I mean, I guess, have you ever seen a mascot get tossed from a game in like any sport ever? So I'm not sure if there are a standard set of rules or procedures for this thing. So unlike ejected players, Youppi was actually able to remain in the ballpark as long as he steered clear of the Dodgers dugout. And so with that said, shout out to Youppi for being an absolute elite instigator. From the bottom of the 11th to the top of the 16th inning, no runner reached third base. Well over an hour of baseball in extra innings with no real threats of scoring, and only 3 guys made it as far as second base. In fact, things got so boring that after the game, the Expos manager admitted that he lost track of what was actually happening around the 15th inning. Kinda like how Brian Johnson, the Eagles offensive coordinator, loses track of what's happening as soon as the first kickoff happens. But that might be for another video. And fun fact, during these barn burner-esque innings, Dodgers relief pitcher Alejandro Pena got just one at-bat on which he singled on, and this at-bat was the only one he would have all season, so he would go on to finish with a 1,000 batting average and was snubbed for winning every batting award that season if you ask me, as he's technically the best hitter in MLB history. Moving on to the bottom of the 16th is where things get rather electric. The Expos loaded the bases, and that's right, someone finally took initiative and was showing that they wanted to win this baseball game. In fact, they wanted to win so badly that they loaded the bases with 0 outs recorded. How about that? Isn't that great, guys? That's awesome. And with the bases loaded, Tim Wallach sent a shallow fly ball to center, which was not deep enough to allow Larry Walker to score from third. However, the next batter, Mike Fitzgerald's fly ball to center, traveled a little bit deeper, and in fact was just deep enough to allow Walker to successfully score from third, narrowly avoiding the tag at home plate. And while the Expos erupted out of the dugout to celebrate finally winning this game, just to make sure, Dodgers catcher Rick Dempsey threw the ball back to third as he and the rest of the Dodgers had a slight hunch that the base runner might have left the bag too early. And sure enough, the Dodgers appealed to the umpire and it was confirmed that Walker had indeed left early, resulting in an out. And thus, this inning concluded with the score remaining a flawless 0-0. And I mean, it's just never gonna end, guys. I really don't think it will. But yeah, let's move on to the 17th inning, where maybe there's success here, but I think the title is a spoiler. And at this point of the game, is anyone having fun? Do the players, do they want to give up? Are the fans even awake? Is Matt Strom okay with the concession stands probably still selling beer? I mean, these are the questions you have to ask yourself when the game is almost at 20 innings. And came and went was the 17th inning, the 18th inning. Oh, someone reached third base in the top of the 19th inning if you care, but in the bottom of the 19th, 20th, and the top of the 21st, there was not a single base runner at all. I mean, my God. And ladies and gentlemen, we have finally made it. The Dodgers started off the top of the 22nd inning with a bang. Rick Dempsey had entered this game with a .168 batting average. That was lower than starting pitcher Oral Hershiser. He had just 1 home run that season, but he did not care about your stupid stats, as Dempsey opened the inning by homering. And when I say homering, I mean this was a tank off of Dennis Martinez, who was another Expo starter being used in relief, and he was a few weeks away from turning 40 years old, and somehow the guy in a game full of stars and Hall of Famers was the first one to figure out how to produce offense. And after so many good pitches all night, all it took was just one pitch for Rick Dempsey to get on top of and absolutely smack it out of the park, giving the Dodgers a 1-run lead in the 22nd inning. And oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, finally, someone has done it. Someone has taken initiative and allowed the Dodgers to get a run on the board. Martinez, although a little bit rattled, would then get the next 3 batters out, thus allowing his chance to hopefully score just 1 run and tie the game. And trying to preserve that 1-run lead was Dodgers pitcher John Wetland, as he stayed on the mound in the bottom of the 22nd inning. And God, does that feel so weird to say. The first batter, Wallach, flew out. The second batter, Fitzgerald, struck out. And down to the last out, Rex Hudler singled to center, giving the Expos a chance to tie or win the game with their 4th batter. But unfortunately, as you all know, for them, with Owen at the plate, Hudler took off for second, and he was caught stealing as the final out of the game. game. And just like that, the game was over. The Dodgers would beat the Expos 1-0 after 22 innings of play. And man, is that so fitting for this long-ass game to end with a runner caught stealing at second base. And when that ball hit Dodgers shortstop Alfredo Griffin's glove, the time was 1:51 a.m., a whole 6 hours and 14 minutes from the first pitch. In those 6 hours and 14 minutes, you could probably have watched Oppenheimer twice or played the new Modern Warfare 3 campaign about 9 times. But those fans got to see one run cross the plate. Oh, and they got to see their favorite team lose, so I'm sure they had a lot of fun. And unknown to the fans, as they were leaving the stadium, they witnessed history in a lot of ways this game, starting with, let's see. Oh, the Dodgers did not walk once in 80 at-bats this game. They were just swinging and saying a prayer on every pitch, which, I respect. And the worst offender of this was 100% leadoff man Alfredo Griffin, who went 0 for 9, lowering his batting average from 269 to 263, and sadly was never able to get it above 263 for the rest of the season. Oh, and remember Larry Walker, the Expos right fielder who left third base early? Well, he debuted the previous week, and this was only his 7th major league game, so the nerves of the big moment may have got the best of him. And another notable as well, the Expos outfielders did not too well at the plate this game. In fact, in their 20 combined at-bats, they had just 4 hits, whereas Dodgers outfielder Lenny Harris went 5 of 9 this game, out-hitting the Expos outfield. And funnily enough, Harris was playing the outfield for the first time since high school, nearly 15 years later. And only 11 pitchers were used this game, which is a lot, but for this 22 inning game, maybe it's not so bad. And 5 of those 11 were starting pitchers. And since the Expos themselves used 3 starters, they had to reset the rotation heading into the next game. And finally, this was the second longest shutout game at that time, second to the 24 inning Astros-Mets game on April 15th, 1968. And although that game was 2 innings longer, this game was actually 8 minutes longer. So yeah, that just about does it for this one. 22 innings, 6 hours of gameplay, and just 1 run. I mean, that's every baseball fan's dream, right? And if it's not, let me know. I'll see you guys in the next one.